I watched my cousin Amanda walk down the aisle in her perfect white dress, surrounded by everyone who had witnessed her humiliate me 2 years ago. They all thought I'd moved on. They all thought I'd forgiven her. But in my purse was a manila envelope that would destroy everything she'd built on lies. And honestly, I couldn't wait to use it. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let me know where you're listening from in the comments. My name is Jessica, I'm 30 years old now, and I'm an elementary school teacher. I've always been the type of person who avoids conflict, who smooths things over, who makes excuses for people I love. My husband Mark says I'm too kind for my own good. Maybe he's right. But 2 years ago, on what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, I learned that kindness can be mistaken for weakness. Let me take you back to my wedding day. I'd been planning it for over a year. Every detail was perfect. The venue was this beautiful garden estate with ivy-covered arches and string lights that would twinkle as the sun set. My dress had been my grandmother's, altered to fit me perfectly. I'd spent months choosing the right flowers, the right music, the right menu. Mark and I had been together for 5 years, and I wanted everything to be magical. Amanda was my maid of honor. She's my cousin, just 2 years younger than me, but growing up we were more like sisters. We shared everything: Barbies, secrets, dreams. Sure, there were moments that should have been red flags. Like when she borrowed my prom date and somehow ended up going to prom with him instead of me. Or when she used my college admissions essay as inspiration for hers and our parents praised her writing skills. Or the countless times she'd one-up my stories at family gatherings. But I always brushed it off. That was just Amanda being Amanda. She was confident, ambitious, a real estate agent who knew how to command attention. I admired that about her. The morning of my wedding started perfectly. My bridesmaids arrived on time for hair and makeup. Well, everyone except Amanda. She showed up 40 minutes late, frazzled and complaining about traffic. Then she started going on about how stressed she was, how her clients were demanding, how exhausted she felt. My hairstylist was running behind because of Amanda's late arrival, but I just smiled and said it was fine. Amanda complained that the bridesmaid dress color made her look washed out. Seafoam green had been my dream color, but she kept holding the dress up to her face in the mirror, frowning. I offered to adjust the lighting for photos. I wanted her to be happy. The ceremony was beautiful. Mark cried when he saw me walking down the aisle. My dad held my arm tight, and I could feel him shaking with emotion. Amanda stood at the altar with the other bridesmaids, and I remember thinking how lucky I was to have her by my side. Everything went perfectly. We said our vows, we kissed, everyone cheered. I felt like I was floating. Then came the reception. I was greeting guests when I heard the whispers. People were staring toward the entrance. I turned around and my stomach dropped. Amanda had changed out of her seafoam green bridesmaid dress. She was wearing white. Not ivory, not cream, not champagne. White. A tight white cocktail dress that hugged every curve. She walked in like she was the bride, smiling and waving at guests. My mouth went dry. I felt Mark's hand tighten around mine. My mother rushed over immediately, her face pale. "Honey," she whispered urgently, "I'm sure she didn't realize. It's probably champagne-colored in different lighting. Please don't make a scene on your special day. You don't want to look back on your wedding and remember drama." I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask Amanda what she was thinking. But everyone was watching, and the last thing I wanted was to be the bride who caused a scene. So I swallowed my anger and smiled. I posed for photos where Amanda positioned herself right next to me, front and center, her white dress practically glowing against my grandmother's ivory lace. Dinner went smoothly, at least. I started to relax. Maybe the dress thing was a genuine mistake. Maybe I was overreacting. Then came the speeches. My father spoke first, welcoming Mark into our family. Mark's best man told funny stories about our relationship. Then it was Amanda's turn as maid of honor. She started normally enough. Childhood memories, inside jokes, sweet anecdotes about our friendship. People were laughing and awing in all the right places. I was actually enjoying it. Then Amanda's voice got louder, more excited. "And speaking of new beginnings," she said, her smile widening, "I have an announcement of my own to make. I'm pregnant." The room erupted. Guests leaped from their seats, rushing toward Amanda. My grandmother started crying tears of joy because Amanda was the first grandchild to have a baby. Aunt Linda was screaming and hugging Amanda. People were toasting Amanda, congratulating her, asking about due dates and baby names. I stood there at my own wedding reception, holding Mark's hand, watching my special day transform into Amanda's pregnancy announcement party. Mark was shaking with anger. "I'm going to say something," he hissed. "This is insane." I grabbed his arm. "Don't. It's already ruined. Making a scene will just make it worse. Let's just get through this." I could feel tears burning behind my eyes, but I refused to cry. I wouldn't give anyone the satisfaction of seeing me break down. The rest of the reception was torture. Every conversation I tried to have got interrupted by someone gushing about Amanda's baby. Our first dance felt hollow. When we cut the cake, half the guests were still clustered around Amanda. Later that evening, Aunt Linda cornered me near the dessert table. "Jessica, sweetie, aren't you just thrilled about Amanda's news? You're going to be a cousin to the baby. I know Amanda was worried about stealing your thunder, but she was just so excited she couldn't hold it in. You understand, right? You know how she is when she gets excited." I heard myself saying the words that would haunt me for 2 years. "Of course, Aunt Linda. I'm so happy for her." But I wasn't happy. I was devastated. And 3 days later, when my mother let it slip that Amanda had known about the pregnancy for 6 weeks before my wedding, I realized the truth. This wasn't spontaneous excitement. This was calculated. This was deliberate. Amanda had planned to make my wedding day about her. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have confronted Amanda right there at the wedding, or would you have stayed silent like I did? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this story, smash that like button and subscribe, because it encourages us and help more people to discover that they can do better than being the family scapegoat and pleaser. The wedding photos arrived 6 weeks later, and I cried when I opened them. There was Amanda in white, front and center in half the shots. In the group photos, guests weren't looking at me and Mark. Their eyes were turned toward Amanda, their faces lit up with excitement about her news. Our photographer had even captured the moment of her announcement. That image where everyone's rushing toward her while I stand frozen with a fake smile, that was supposed to be during my maid of honor speech. It felt like looking at someone else's wedding that I just happened to be attending. Mark wanted me to say something to Amanda. "This needs to be addressed," he kept saying, but I couldn't find the words. Every time I picked up the phone to call her, I'd imagine Aunt Linda's voice, my mother's disappointment, the whole family telling me I was being selfish. So I said nothing. Baby Tyler was born 5 months later, and he became the center of our family's universe. Every gathering, every holiday, every casual dinner revolved around Tyler's milestones. Can Tyler roll over yet? Look at Tyler's first tooth. Did you see the video of Tyler laughing? I'd show up to family dinners and get a polite hello before everyone rushed to wherever Amanda had set up Tyler's portable playpen. I got pregnant 8 months after my wedding. I was terrified to announce it at family dinner, but Mark convinced me it would be different this time. I stood up, my hands shaking, and said Mark and I were expecting. My mother hugged me, and Linda said congratulations. Then, before I could even sit back down, my grandmother asked Amanda if Tyler was sleeping through the night yet. The conversation moved on like I hadn't spoken at all. I had a daughter. We named her Charlotte, and she was perfect. She had Mark's eyes and my smile, and I fell in love with her the moment they placed her in my arms. I threw Charlotte's first birthday party at our house, spent weeks planning it, baking her cake myself. Amanda showed up with a professional photographer. She hadn't asked permission, hadn't even mentioned it. She just arrived with this woman carrying expensive camera equipment. "I thought we could get some professional shots," Amanda said breezily. "Tyler needs portfolio photos, and this was the perfect opportunity." Before I could respond, Amanda was posing Tyler next to Charlotte's birthday cake. The cake I'd made for my daughter. The photographer snapped dozens of pictures while Tyler grabbed at the frosting, smearing it everywhere. Charlotte started crying because she wanted her cake. I picked up my daughter and watched Amanda direct the photo shoot at my child's birthday party. Those photos showed up on Amanda's Instagram 3 days later. The caption read Tyler's Playdate birthday fun with a bunch of party emojis. People who didn't know better thought it was Tyler's party. I got messages asking why I hadn't invited certain family members to Tyler's celebration. I didn't even bother correcting them. I started avoiding family events. I'd make up excuses about Charlotte being sick or Mark having to work. My mother called constantly. "Amanda keeps asking about you. She misses you. Whatever happened at the wedding, you need to let it go. It's been over a year, Jessica. Family is family. She didn't mean any harm. You're holding on to resentment, and it's not healthy." Mark finally put his foot down. "You need to set boundaries with her. Tell Amanda she can't post photos of Charlotte without your permission. Tell her the wedding still hurts. Say something, Jess, or this will never stop." He was right. I knew he was right. So I called Amanda and, my voice shaking, asked her not to post photos of Charlotte without checking with me first. There was silence on the other end. Then Amanda started crying. "I can't believe you'd say that. I love Charlotte like she's my own. I thought we were close. This really hurts, Jessica." She hung up on me. 20 minutes later, Aunt Linda called my mother. My mother called me. "Why are you being so controlling? Amanda loves Charlotte. She's just trying to be a good cousin. You're being paranoid and honestly, you're being hurtful. She's devastated." I apologized. I actually apologized to Amanda for asking her not to post my daughter's photos without permission. I heard myself making excuses for her again, saying I was just tired from new motherhood, that I didn't mean it the way it sounded. 18 months after Tyler was born, Amanda got engaged to Derek, a successful contractor who seemed genuinely kind. The family was overjoyed. Aunt Linda made pointed comments at the engagement party. "Finally, a proper family unit. Tyler deserves to have his parents married. Not everyone does things in the right order, but better late than never." She looked directly at me when she said it, like my wedding somehow didn't count because I'd done it before having children. Amanda asked me to be a bridesmaid. I stared at the text message for 20 minutes. I wanted to say no. Every fiber of my being screamed no. But when I tried to type the words, I couldn't. My mother called before I could respond. "Amanda's asking you to be in her wedding. This is her way of apologizing for everything. This is an olive branch, Jessica. Be the bigger person. Show her you've moved on." So I said yes. Because that's what I always did. I said yes and I smiled and I pushed down the resentment that was building in my chest like a physical weight. The bachelorette party was 3 months before the wedding. I'd helped plan it, paid for most of it actually, because Amanda said money was tight with wedding expenses. We went to this upscale wine bar downtown. Amanda got drunk faster than I'd ever seen her drink. I was in the bathroom when I heard her voice in the hallway, talking to her best friend Nicole. "Derek still doesn't know Tyler isn't his," Amanda was saying, her words slurred. God, can you imagine? The real dad was just some random hookup from that Miami conference. I didn't even get his last name. But Derek's so obsessed with Tyler being his mini-me. He's always going on about Tyler having his nose, his personality. I'm taking that secret to my grave. I stood frozen in the bathroom stall, my hand on the lock. My heart was pounding so hard I thought Amanda might hear it through the door. Tyler wasn't Derek's son. Derek, who'd been raising that baby for 18 months, who'd proposed to Amanda to give Tyler a complete family, who'd just bought a house with an extra bedroom for future children. He had no idea he'd been living a lie. Can you believe Amanda had the audacity to ask me to step back from the photos? After everything she'd already done? Let me know in the comments what you think I should do with this secret I discovered. Should I tell Derek or should I stay out of it? Hit that subscribe button and click the like button because what I'm about to tell you guys is going to be absolutely wild. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed next to Mark, staring at the ceiling, Amanda's drunken confession playing on repeat in my mind. In the morning, I told Mark everything. He sat at our kitchen table, his coffee growing cold, just staring at me. "That guy deserves to know," he finally said. "But Jess, this isn't your secret to tell. This is going to blow up the entire family." He was right, and part of me wanted to stay silent. The old Jessica would have. The Jessica who made excuses and kept peace and swallowed her pain would have locked that secret away forever. I went through the motions for the next few weeks. Attended dress fittings, helped address invitations, smiled at the bridal shower. But that weight in my chest kept growing heavier. Then, 1 week before Amanda's wedding, she stopped by my house unannounced. I was giving Charlotte lunch when the doorbell rang. Amanda walked in without waiting for an invitation, looked around my living room like she was inspecting it. "So I need to ask you something," she said, not bothering with pleasantries. "I've been looking at the bridesmaid lineup for photos and honestly, Jessica, you're not as photogenic as I remembered. Would you mind switching positions with Sarah? I'm really particular about my wedding photos and I need the most camera-ready girls up front." I stood there with a spoonful of mashed banana halfway to Charlotte's mouth. Something inside me snapped. Not dramatically, not loudly. It was quiet, like a thread breaking. "Get out of my house," I heard myself say. Amanda blinked. "What? Get out. Now." She left, sputtering about me being oversensitive. The second her car pulled away, I opened my laptop. I became someone I didn't recognize. I went through Amanda's Instagram, searching for posts from 10 months before Tyler was born. There it was. A photo of Amanda at a real estate conference in Miami, tagged with the hotel and conference name. I found the conference website, pulled up old attendee lists from Amanda's tagged photos. It took 3 days, but I found him. Nathan Brown. Amanda had posted a group shot at a networking dinner, and he was standing close to her, their body language familiar. I cross-referenced his social media, found a photo he'd posted from the same Miami hotel on the same dates. In his phone's reflection in one picture, I could see a contact saved as Miami Girl. My hand shook as I sent him a message. I explained who I was, what I'd overheard, asked if he remembered Amanda. He responded within an hour. He remembered her very well. They'd spent 3 nights together. She'd given him her number, they'd talked about meeting up when they were both back home, then she'd ghosted him completely. He'd tried calling for weeks. I told him about Tyler, about Derek, about the timeline. Nathan went silent for a full day. When he finally responded, his message was long. He'd always wanted children. Finding out he might have a son out there that he'd never known about was devastating. He said he'd take a paternity test if Tyler was actually his, that he wanted to be involved, that he'd been ready to be a father for years. I didn't plan to make it public. I swear I didn't. I was going to pull Derek aside privately before the ceremony, show him the evidence, let him make his own choice about what to do. I arrived at Amanda's wedding with the manila envelope in my purse, my heart racing, rehearsing what I'd say to Derek. The ceremony was beautiful. Amanda looked stunning. Derek cried during his vows. I felt sick watching him promise forever to someone who'd built their entire relationship on a lie. At the reception, I kept looking for a moment to get Derek alone, but he was surrounded by groomsmen, by family, by photographers. Then came the speeches. Amanda's matron of honor spoke first. Then Derek's brother. Then Amanda herself stood up, thanking everyone for coming. She looked radiant, confident, victorious. Her eyes scanned the room and landed on me. I want to give special thanks to my cousin Jessica, Amanda said, her voice projecting across the entire venue. Thank you for finally learning to be happy for other people instead of making everything about yourself. The room laughed. People actually laughed. I saw my mother close her eyes, embarrassed. Aunt Linda was beaming at Amanda. Mark's hand found mine under the table, squeezing hard. I stood up. My legs moved before my brain caught up. I walked to the microphone as Amanda sat down, confusion flickering across her face. I have something to share too, I said. My voice didn't shake. It was steady, clear, strong. Amanda, you taught me something important at my wedding 2 years ago. You taught me that sometimes the most important announcements can't wait. So this can't wait either. I pulled out the envelope, opened it slowly. Inside were printed Facebook messages between Amanda and Nathan, screenshots of their Instagram posts from Miami with matching dates and locations, and Nathan's sworn statement about their relationship and his willingness to take a paternity test. Derek, I said, looking directly at him. His face had gone pale. I'm so sorry you're finding out this way, but Tyler might not be your son. Amanda was with someone else right when Tyler would have been conceived. His name is Nathan Brown. He's waiting outside right now, and he's willing to take a paternity test today if you want the truth. The room exploded. Gasps, shouts, chairs scraping back. Derek grabbed the papers from my hand, his fingers trembling. He read them, his face draining of color. He looked at Amanda. Is this true? Amanda's mouth opened and closed. She tried to say something, but no words came out. Derek pulled out his phone, scrolling to Nathan's Instagram that I'd included in the packet. He stared at the photo of Nathan, then pulled up a picture of Tyler on his phone. Even from where I stood, I could see the similarities. The nose, the eyes, the shape of the face. Nothing like Derek. Aunt Linda was screaming at me. My mother was trying to pull me away from the microphone. But I wasn't finished. For 2 years, you all watched Amanda make my life about her. You told me to be the bigger person, to let it go, that family is family. Well, family doesn't commit paternity fraud. Derek deserved to know the truth before he legally committed to raising a child that might not be his. And Tyler deserves to know his real father, who actually wants to be in his life. Mark appeared at my side. He took my hand and we walked toward the exit. Behind us, I could hear Derek demanding answers, Amanda crying, the wedding dissolving into chaos. We walked out those doors and I felt lighter than I had in 2 years. The The paternity test confirmed what we all knew. Nathan was Tyler's biological father. Derek called off the marriage immediately. Half the family stopped speaking to me. Aunt Linda sends me hate messages on holidays. My mother calls sometimes, begging me to apologize, to fix things. But Nathan got shared custody of Tyler. He's a good father, present and loving in ways Derek never was. And me? I've never been happier. I stopped shrinking myself to make room for Amanda's chaos. I stopped making excuses for people who hurt me. Sometimes being the bigger person just means you're making yourself smaller. And I was done disappearing. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and feel free to share your story or opinions in the comments.